what's up with it. Dog in the fall, Ryan Gray. Seeing eye dog in the fall, Ryan Gray. Chilling and building. Just brought a few little topics to the table. Childhood trauma. It's the seen unseen, and it's the said unsaid that's going on around us and right in front of our face, and we all participate and victims of or victimized by it, consciously. And it's the childishness of our community and stuff, man. What we so entrenched in as adults. And the fact of me bringing it up, the childish part of it is because, like, when you look at our maturity level as a whole, if you combine our whole age, the maturity of our age and the immaturity of our people and average it all to a number in the terms of morality and consciousness, so forth, about self-consciousness, self-awareness, man, we probably at like 11 or 12-year-old conscious level. Like, we all as a whole, our peak interest, the things we care about, the things we concerned with, the things we're involved with, are so childish and mediocre in the terms of what real life and what real people really deal with. And so those things that we, witness within ourselves, man, like the maturity, the black woman is where she at because she don't have a black man. And the white man is where he at because he's still not being challenged by a man. He's being challenged by he's maneuvering with boys. And so, the economics that it create in the terms of the strategies and this, that, and other, the awareness, people deal with you with childish games. They handle you, deal with you in a mature phase. They had us jumping off the porch since a kid. And so, like, when you get older, you start understanding the implication of childhood trauma. And what's so crazy about it is that it's a self-inflicted thing that you already stigmatized from the time you come into this world because you're born within the structure of a family. A situation where love is supposed to be a birthright. And because of the principles that surround the birthright, you feel like you're entitled to just a square fair, experience, but it don't necessarily work like that, hardly for nobody. And that's the main thing. So when you deal with people, man, you deal with people that's been abused and people that's been mishandled, misguided, mistreated, misused, misfortunate, because all of these are symptoms of the same thing, man. People who've been damaged, damaged goods. And so, like, with us, they done got into this no rat clause and so forth and so on, which is cool, but like, man, they really don't understand that they're imprisoning the little kids that's coming up. They feel like I lived through it, I endured it. But at the end of the day, man, like, suffering in silence, man, is why, we fill the penitentiaries up. Is why we fill the graveyards up. Because so many people suffer in silence, man, and never get a chance to express. Not even to the person that's oppressing them, which is usually a family member, a sibling, somebody close to them that's supposed to be there protecting them, that's doing them wrong. So, in this society, that care less and critique more, it's a weird world, man, for a kid. They don't understand. I was one of those kids growing up that I suffered in silence. I learned how to deal with everything by being quiet. And in the streets, it made me what people consider trustworthy. You know what I'm saying? But what's crazy about the streets and the trustworthy aspect of it, yeah. One part of the story is when you get ratted on, but what about the other part of the story when you don't rat on the nigga, you got to take another nigga lick that you didn't really have nothing to do with? You know what I'm saying? Which happened to me, been my story the majority of my life. You know what I'm saying? I always was getting somebody else's retribution for what they done. And being in a situation that it was just another thing I added to the ticket, suffering in silence, even more so. Now I'm still suffering in silence, even with the law. Because now, you know what I'm saying? Like, I could have made a nigga took their charge physically. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't in that space. And so I let the morality thing deal with it. And guess what? I went to Frank Marullo court, and Marullo put that fucking case on me just the way the police wrote it up. And I paid the restitution, and I did the probation and all of the shit that I had to do and everything that came with it. But you know what I'm saying? That to say that in silence, the true perpetrator always sneak away. So, this is one of them situations, man, that you gotta championship the hopes and the dreams of the young, man. You gotta give them a hope and a reason to believe, man, because we all living and existing on the thinnest of threads. None of us have a solid rope in our day-to-day dealings. So for the little ones, man, who need that that assurance, man, who crying themselves to sleep at night, man, people need to look past the exterior sometime, man, and see the point that we all deserve to be loved, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, love is something that, how could I put this? You know what I'm saying? Love is what you give free. You shouldn't love, you shouldn't have to perform the love for somebody to love you. You shouldn't have to act a certain kind of way. You shouldn't have to be a certain kind of way or say a certain type of thing for somebody to love you. Love is free. And that's the whole point. In this society right now, love is anything but free. Life is anything but free. And that's the whole point about it. Like, man, who charging us? Who charging us to breathe? And because that's the way it feel. It calls for a cup of water. It calls for a nostril of air. And it's getting to the point where the world is getting to the point where they want kids to be grown people before their time. And so when you got kids acting grown, then you're going to get grown people acting like kids. And that's the point. In the Black community, the trauma from the time that you realize that pain kicked in, from the time that you got that first beating or the first time you realized you was abandoned, that pain right then and there, it locked you in that position. You can remember where it started. And that's why every time you see a movie when a nigga get in their mind or they get to cry, mama, mama, don't leave me. Don't do this, don't do that. Because that's where it started. They can remember and you never forget it. And so your body grow, you get taller, you grow a beard, you fuck, you have kids. And now you have kids and you a kid yourself because you don't even know how to grow or raise your kid past the point you stop growing at. Your body grew, but the pain kept you locked to who you were all them years. You never developed. And then what's crazy is being quiet about it, you done silence yourself. Now you don't even remember who you was. And you got to think back. It's a morning mirror ritual that we all have to do every morning. You look in the mirror and you look in your eyes and you look back in your eyes far enough to see that little child you used to be, who believed the world was nice and people was right and things was fair and you had a chance. Because all those things are still true. But when you zoom forward to that focus that you see right now, you got to realize it's still true because in your face right now, you don't believe that. You don't see that. You don't hear that. You see the pain. You hear the poison. You see the selfishness in people to get nowhere. So, it's more than a slogan. Hurt people, hurt people. It's a fact. Ryan Gray, 1-000. Real recognize real, but most of all, real should respect real. Break bread, show love. Life is for the living, flowers is for the dead. Nevertheless, Ryan Gray in the flesh, documenting the aspect of what it mean to be real, where I started from, how I started, who it is and what it is. Real official shit. My God. The Bluenote. The lucky spot. Wow.